Alright, so just to make a little video here. Did some work on the 7.3 yesterday, replaced a relay, tested some glow plugs, found out that the glow plug harness had come disconnected inside the head, and reconnected those. And today's kind of a cold day and a good day to test to see if it's going to start. Okay. So yesterday spent several hours thinking I was going to change the glow plugs. These glow plugs are from Riff Raff. These are, if you're going to put glow plugs in your 7.3, I would suggest doing the Motorcraft. Not saying there aren't any other good ones out there, but it's what it was designed for. So I don't know what's in there now, but they all tested at 1.24 to 1.8. We'll just say all 8 of them tested fine. So I decided not to put new glow plugs in there. I may change my mind later, but I think the harness is probably a bigger issue. I don't know if that harness is coming undone from the motor shaking so hard when I start it, or what exactly. But I'm gonna fire this up right now and see where she goes. So there's my wait to start light. It'll pop up right here. There's my gauges. So I'm going to key on, pushing the clutch, lights out. Definitely an easier start, but not exactly what I would call perfect. And I didn't have it plugged in, so this is the first time I've actually been able to start the vehicle without it plugged in. And I'm going to say it's probably about 50 degrees outside. Could be colder, but everything looks good. Motor doesn't sound the greatest, but I don't think it sounds too bad. I've heard some motors that sound like they're running on 6 cylinders, and yeah, so this one sounds pretty healthy, considering that voltage on the battery is a little concerning. It's within the normal range, but I've seen it higher. Fuel pressure, or the oil pressure, is right in the normal range. I'm happy with that. That was kind of weird. That voltage just kicked up, and like I heard the engine make a completely different sound, like a healthier sound. So my batteries might be going bad. They're Walmart batteries. I wouldn't suggest Walmart batteries, but when I bought these, I was kind of in a pinch, and it was close. They had them. They were cheap. And my next set of batteries is going to be from Interstate. But yeah, I'm running on the front fuel tank right now, and I've got just under 3/4 of a tank. I've actually also got a what do they call it, an in-tank filter that I've got to install. So probably do that on the rear tank. I'm going to switch that over right now and see how much fuel I got in there. Less than quarter of a tank. Yeah, down to almost an eighth of a tank. I may run this a little bit and get some more fuel out of there before I drop it, and then I will drop the rear tank, do that filter first, then I'll order another filter and do the front tank at a later time. But yeah, I'm just going to do clean one tank at a time. This truck sat for several years without ever being ran. I bought it at an auction, and it didn't have batteries. The fuel pump was disconnected, or the fuel pump was bad. The turbo looked like someone had started to take it apart. Didn't have any of the bands or the some of those rubber boots. What are those rubber boots called? A bunch of those were missing. Well, there's only 3 of them underneath there, but I ended up going to a junkyard and I found everything that I needed except for the fuel pump. I ordered a Ford Motorcraft from Riff Raff, and that's what this is running on. And they will go bad if you don't have a clean tank, and that's why I'm cleaning the tank out on this thing. I want to make sure that everything is up and up from the fuel tank to the injectors. And I may have to I don't know if I'm going to rebuild the injectors or just put new O-rings on them, but I mean, with it sitting for several years, I think that's probably something that I should at least do the minimum on, is rebuild those injectors or re-O-ring them. And you know, while I have them out, I may just rebuild them. I don't know. It looks like kind of a process to rebuild those 7.3 injectors, but maybe it'll make the truck run better, give it more power. I know that the tips of those injectors have 4 what do you call them, just like little holes in the end where it sprays out the diesel fuel into the cylinder. And maybe 1 or 2 of those could get clogged up. Not sure. Watched a few videos on the injector rebuild, and it just seems like it's a pretty intense process. And I don't know if it'd be smart to maybe do one side, do the left bank and then the right bank, or if I should just do all 8 of them at the same time. But I do hear a lot of people make the remarks that after they rebuild their injectors, they can't get their truck to start. So that's a concern. What else? I guess there's like an oil pump right in the front behind the fan. That's an issue that some people have problems with, and that'll give you a hard start. Apparently there's some tolerances with that pump that once those tolerances are lost with wear, oil drains back down into the pan when it's supposed to keep it up into the reservoir. I don't know if there's a test you can do just before you tear everything apart to see if that's even an issue. I don't know. But I mean, the truck started. As it gets warmer, it's not going to have that hard of a time starting. So yeah, there's that. Bowl heater. I'm not going to do any deletes to this truck. I'm going to keep it as stock as possible. If I do any upgrades, it'll be like injectors, or this is a federal emissioned truck, so I might change out the fuel rail from federal, or from California to federal. I don't know if I said that backwards, but this is a California emissions truck, and changing the lift pump on this, which is the fuel pump, is a nightmare because of that. You can you have to remove the turbo, and on the federal emission trucks, standard emission, you don't have to remove the turbo because the fuel rail is quite a bit more accessible. So I may make that modification, and I'd probably make that modification the next time the fuel pump goes out, to be honest. Or when I change the turbo. I am gonna most likely upgrade the turbo, and probably the injectors, like I said, but yeah, I just want this to be a decent rig to allow me to pull a trailer with a skid loader. That's kind of my goal with this truck. Might be nice to throw a camper on the back. It's got a fifth wheel, or a ball in the bed, folds down, so that's kind of cool. That's about it. I really like this truck. I think it's got some potential, and I'm gonna end this video here. This is just the 7.3 1996 Ford F350 4-wheel drive 5-speed.